Hi everybody, I'm Marla with 9 Health, and this is our weekly Facebook live show, Health Happens. And we're bringing you objective health information, news that you can use to help you in your health journey and prevention. And today we are lucky to be joined by Kimsey Self, and she is a medical nutrition therapist. You're going to tell us what that is in a minute, but it sounds really great, and she has a lot of information. We have a recipe we're going to be making in honor of National Diabetes Month. So we're going to dive right into that. But first, tell us a little bit about type 2 diabetes and why we should really care about that.
Yeah, definitely. So Marla, believe it or not, 1 in 3 Americans have type 2 diabetes, and about 90% of people don't realize that they have it.
Okay.
And type 2 diabetes, it really affects all body systems. It's not just about high blood sugar. It's about what that sugar does to the rest of the body. So we look at the cardiovascular system, how it plaques the cardiovascular system, the brain and neurons, how it plaques and kills neurons, and then kind of the whole system.
So type 2 diabetes can affect your whole body, and you know, one of the things it has, if it left untreated, it has some pretty dire effects.
It does.
What are some of those?
Yeah, exactly, it does. So we look at, there's a direct relationship between type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease, for example. Going back to the brain, they're starting to call, or have for a long time, called Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. So in other words, type 2 relates to a much higher potential for Alzheimer's and dementia. We also have to look at the immune system also, because type 2 diabetes creates an exponential amount of inflammation, and inflammation is mediated by the immune system. And so then we look into also inflammatory conditions, autoimmunity, cancer, and things along those lines.
Okay, and it's one of the leading causes of blindness, amputation, all of that. So
exactly.
Really important. And maybe does it have a symptoms in the beginning?
You know, not really.
Yeah.
Some of the main symptoms I would pay attention to would be fatigue after eating meals, craving sugar in general, and particularly craving sugar after meals.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
I know, right? I know.
So, but one of the things that you can do is find a definitive answer about your risk for diabetes with an A1C test, which you can get at 9 Health Fairs. It's one of our missions, is to be able to provide you with that information. So we have one left this fall. It's at the American Indian Center this Saturday. So if you're looking at what is my risk for diabetes, you can go get that definitive test. It's the hemoglobin A1C screening, and you can get that at a 9 Health Fair. So if you're wondering, like me, like, that sounds familiar.
How do I know if I have it?
Yeah, maybe check that out. So
absolutely.
Okay, we have a lot of good-looking food here. What are we going to make?
Yes. So we're going to make homemade protein bars. They're nut-based protein bars. They're extremely easy to make, and they're delicious too.
Okay, we're going to find out.
All right, sounds good.
Tell us what's happening. What's all this?
Okay, so what we're looking at here are couple different forms of nuts. We've got pecans and walnuts. We've got sunflower seed butter. Really, you can use any. So sunflower seed, almond butter, cashew butter. I just like to change it up. We have flax seeds and a plant-based vanilla protein powder. This is just a rice protein powder.
Okay.
And these ingredients really help when looking at the prevention of type 2 diabetes. They help because with type 2 diabetes, you want, in the prevention of it, you want a steady supply of fuel. So when looking at diet, one of the more important things, in addition to a whole foods diet, nutrient dense, we also want a steady, slow release of fuel. So we look to things like fiber, essential fatty acids, protein to do that, because when we eat those foods, they digest slowly, and then it creates this kind of slow release instead of, spiking our blood sugar and then it crashes and spikes. And that roller coaster is what we don't want.
Okay.
So we've got this nice little gradual.
And this is our fuel for our body.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. Fuel for the body.
It's going to make it consistent throughout the day. And will you then notice you feel better, or what should you notice?
Exactly. Yes. So if you have this snack, like having a snack like this, especially first thing, and the first thing that you eat that day. So not necessarily first thing in the morning per se, but first thing that you have to eat that day, starting the day with protein can make a huge difference. So anybody listening that's like, oh, I have, whatever it might be, cereal or toast or something, and they're hungry an hour later, that's your clue that roller coaster is starting to happen. If you have
that's
protein.
happened. That's happened to me before.
Yeah.
So, and you're a medical nutrition therapist, and so you study these things in nutrition, and you could help us with advice about what to eat, maybe what not to eat, how it affects our body. If you have questions about what your nutrition looks like and how that might be affecting you, and maybe what some small changes are that you can do, Kimsey is here to answer those questions, and we're happy to take those. So feel free to type them in, and we have someone, Travis, behind the camera. He'll yell them out at us, and we'll go ahead and answer those. So go ahead and ask questions. But in the meantime, you were telling me something interesting about the relationship between the food and what it actually does to your body, and then how that over time might really affect you positively or negatively. Yeah. So
Yep, exactly. And that's, especially food truly is medicine. And when we're looking at type 2 diabetes, we really, it helps to understand some of the basics of the mechanisms that happen, and therefore how food works, right? How it helps prevent it.
Okay.
So that's really what this is about.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into it.
Before you
Let's
get
make
started,
stuff.
I have a question.
Oh, we have questions.
Yay.
We
Go ahead.
all know how dry our climate is here in Colorado. What can we eat to rehydrate?
That's a great question.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the answer?
Yeah, right? I don't know. Should we ask what? No, just kidding.
Ask the expert.
Yeah. So, the obvious answer to that would be hydration, but not just with water. I would suggest adding some electrolytes to it. So a simple way that you can do that at home would be squeeze of lemon and a pinch of sea salt. So particularly the pink Himalayan rock salt. That's a really balanced mineral profile. Lemon, that will help.
Gosh, never heard of that concoction.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Definitely.
Sounds like a tasty drink.
Easy thing. You can have them at home. It's simple.
What about the Gatorades and those kinds of things you can buy? Yeah, she's making a face.
Yeah, I am making a face. I'm a purist in the sense that I really believe in the fewer the ingredients, especially processed or preservatives or sugars, the better.
Okay.
So not all electrolyte products that you'll find at the store are bad by any means. And I have some brands in mind, but to keep it simple, that's why I went with the home-based
something you
ingredients
do at
that
home
could
too. It doesn't
use.
cost you a lot.
Yep, exactly.
Which is
exactly.
great. Which is great.
Yeah.
One of the things I've been experimenting with is coconut water.
Okay, nice.
And
yeah, absolutely.
Don't know. I feel like it works, but what
Great.
do you think?
That's perfect. That would be great. Yep,
Okay.
exactly. There's a ton of potassium in coconut water. There's some sodium. There's some magnesium. There's calcium. There's a lot of different minerals within coconut water.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that
that'd be
would
okay
great.
to try. Thank goodness, because I'm trying it. So.
Yeah, great.
Okay, keep the questions coming now.
Yeah.
Let's make this beautiful bar. It's going to look like this, and I'm going to try it in a minute. But
I think
how
you
do we
might be
start?
having some audio issues still.
Oh my
That sign
gosh.
says I can't read lips.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
shoot.
Okay, well, we are going to try and get to the bottom of that audio issue, but somebody heard us because they had a question about hydration.
I know, that's what I was thinking too.
So
yeah.
let's keep an eye on that, and if we're really having those issues, then we'll try and
Post the video shortly after.
post a
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
Take
I have another question if you're interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
How can I get more fiber without increasing carbs?
Oh, great question. Great question. So that actually brings us to this recipe, is looking at things like nuts and seeds. There's also, like, what we're looking for, complex indigestible. So vegetable fibers, in other words, would be great. Things like leafy greens, sweet potatoes, fruits even, like berries. And then also with fiber, I look to, let's see.
But so in you talking about leafy greens and vegetables, they still have carbs, right?
Very minimal amount.
Okay.
Yeah, very
So it's a
minimal
better
amount.
choice. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
The legumes. That's what I was going to say when I was like, let me think. Yeah, legumes would be
Beans.
another one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Soaked and cooked for a prolonged period of time and then enjoyed. That would be another great source.
Okay.
And
Good
all
answer.
of those, the carbs will be pretty minimal as opposed to, grains, for example. That's where we start to get into the carbohydrate issue.
Okay.
I have another question if you're interested.
Yeah.
How can I get my kid up and moving and eating better?
That is $1 million question.
Yeah,
but what
definitely.
advice do you have? Are
Yeah.
there some quick tips you have?
Definitely. There's a lot of foods that kids like that can actually taste good too. So things like these homemade protein bars, mixing in like a little bit of cacao even to different foods, because chocolate's really high in antioxidants, and especially when it's pure, it's lower in sugar. And then also, this might sound silly, but training kids to like healthy food, especially from an early age, and they see that you like it and that this is healthy, this is strengthening our body, they can start to come around to healthier foods.
And what about activity? I know you're focused on nutrition,
Yeah,
but is there any, maybe reward system? Like if you guys go out and play for an hour, we're going to have protein bars. I don't know. Anything you've seen work at all?
Yeah, definitely. So looking at activity or rewards for activity, things along those lines. So you can do healthy treats, like instead of going out for ice cream, you go out for frozen yogurt kind of thing.
Very good.
Or maybe, kids also love cooking. I used to teach a cooking class to kids. And so getting them involved in the kitchen with a recipe like this, or, chia seed pudding, or like avocado mousse, or kind of easy recipes like that where they can really get in with their hands and mush things together.
Okay, speaking of
That keeps
kids
it
and
fun.
mushing things around, let's put some stuff in here.
Yeah.
I'm dying to get to this.
I
So
know.
how does it work?
Okay, so it's super easy. You start by taking the nut butter.
And again, if you're just joining us, we are making this fabulous recipe of homemade protein bars. And
yes.
this is Kimsey Self, and she is a medical nutrition therapist.
I am.
You study this, so you know what you're doing.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got nut butter in there.
Yes. And I'll say, kind of to clarify the medical nutritionist title, because a lot of people are like, what is that?
Yeah, what is that?
In my business, Progressive Health and Wellness, I provide holistic
Okay, so this is the protein powder.
protein
Okay.
powder. We've got the flaxseed, sunflower butter, and protein powder in so far. Take this and mix it into a paste,
Wow.
into a flour, really. But I provide holistic clinical health and wellness evaluations, education, and counseling that can dramatically transform people's health, well-being, and quality of life. Mm-hmm. So that's really what medical nutritionist
And
is.
all around food and what you put in your body, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're putting more of that in.
I am. Get it a little bit.
Are you trying to put all of that in there?
Probably not. Not
Okay.
with the
Okay.
the amount of
So
nut
you're just
butter.
looking for it to get to a kind of paste-like consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna get in there.
Yeah,
Just
you
get in
should.
with the
You were talking about
hands.
using your hands even.
Totally. It's way easier.
So, okay, this is fun.
Yeah. And this is why
I don't know
kids,
how-
something like this is what kids would love. Just make sure
I'm
you
glad
leave
you're
some
doing that.
newspaper around. Yeah.
Okay, and so when you're done, we're
Yep.
gonna can I put these in, or are you ready?
Yeah. So put in a little bit. Yeah. What I do is put in just a little bit
Okay.
in the beginning, and same thing with the walnuts. If you want to add a little
Okay,
bit of the
walnuts.
walnuts.
And are there some nuts that are better than others for you?
Yeah, pretty much anything besides peanuts. I'm not a huge peanut fan. Not only, obviously do many people have allergies to peanuts, but more importantly, they are often high in mold and aflatoxin
Really?
mold. Yeah. And just different contaminants that you wouldn't know, you wouldn't realize, which
Okay.
part of what makes them
And I heard they're not really a nut
allergenic.
anyway.
They're a legume. Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
they're out.
Other than
Nuts are
that,
out.
like in this case, walnuts, flaxseed, they're high in omega-3s, which is an essential fatty acid that helps with inflammation, brain health, cardiovascular health.
and then they look like this when you're done?
Yes, exactly. So we're kind of getting there with this. This is
It's
a mini version of it, obviously. But
It's really a hands-on procedure here. I mean, you got to
is.
get in there and mix it up and
You do. And then all you do, so ideally this would fill the pan. We're just using a miniature version of it. This would fill the pan. You flatten it out so that it's even across the pan. And then come in and cut it with a spatula into whatever size bars you want. Stick it in the fridge, and they come out looking like that.
Okay,
You don't
so
even have to bake it.
how long do they have to stay in the fridge? Let's see how good these things are.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I know.
Yummy. Okay, I'm gonna try it.
Do it. Let me know what you think. They're chewy. And they're best right out of the fridge or freezer when they're still kind of cold and solid, and then they melt.
They're really good. They have kind of a sweet and salty
Yep, exactly.
taste.
That's the goal.
All right, so that's pretty easy.
Yeah, it is.
And this is meant to help you have consistent fuel across the day.
Exactly.
And this might be the first thing you eat in them.
I was gonna say, yeah, if you start the day with that, then you'll notice too you're less hungry throughout the day. Your energy stays more stable. Starting with protein in the morning is the best.
And this is delicious, guys.
Nice. Yay.
All right, so if you want this recipe, we're going to go ahead and put it in our blog. It'll be on 9news.com, 9healthfair.org, and we can also post it in the Facebook post so you can't miss it. Thanks for joining us today, and thank you, Kimsey, for this great recipe. I'm going to eat the rest of this, but I can't talk while I do it.
I know, it's sticky, yeah.
So we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.